Hey everyone, it's early in the month, which you know means recommendations, all the incredible other great game dev content out there. Hey all, I hope you're well, playing and making the games that you all love. You're joined by me, your host, Principal Level Designer Max Pears. Absolute pleasure to have you all here with me today. Thank you if you're listening, whether it be morning, evening, or night. I really appreciate you spending the time to listen to us. If you're new to the show, this kind of content very much at the start of every month, I go through and recommend incredible other devs, resources that I've seen, read, listened to throughout the month that I think are really useful for all of us to use, as after all, I do not know everything. So I want to share that journey and these aspects with all of you as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the very first one.
But first, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is none other than me. What I've done, everyone, and I hope you're excited for this, is I've actually created a level design kind of store. What I've done in this store is put up different kinds of tips and tricks that you can find there, whether that be my actual ebook itself to that of level design pamphlets focused on different things such as traversal, stealth, breaking into the industry, as well as different talks that I have done which you cannot find anywhere else other than on this store. So if you are looking to improve on your level design skills and processes, then check out the Level Design Store, which will be down in the description below, where there'll be a link to find this. All you need to do is head over to gumroad.com/level design lobby. I hope you like what you see, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you, and now back to the show.
And that first one is the GDC Talk on that of developing level design and building New York in Marvel's Spider-Man. In this talk, it's presented by Josu. Oh, I feel like I've butchered that name there completely. Josu Benavides, discussing about the fundamentals that he's learned while working over in Insomniac and talking about what he's kind of learned from firstly starting on, I believe it was Sunset Overdrive, to then over to Marvel Spider-Man, and discussing kind of how obviously they are such different levels, right? But his process remained the same, talking about how he goes through, approaches this, because movement is so crucial in the games that he talks about in this talk and in his career. So he needs to figure out how do you encourage these type of movement, but how do you plan and situate those movements. And we all know Spider-Man especially is not like many, if any, other characters in terms of game traditional movements that we see out there, right? So he does an incredible job talking about that, thinking, sharing about his experiences when going through those. So check this one out. This is one that I only recently found, but really happy to actually go through and hear about this, and wish I'd seen this before I worked on my actual Spider-Man Fisk hideout one. They definitely should have made that one bigger to encourage more space, and definitely separated that into different sections and have more height involved. I think would have been a better one for me. But again, great talk, and to hear all of that, which is again fascinating to hear. So that's number one. We're going into now resource number two, which is the NoClip Documentary on making that of Immortality. Now, I've not played Immortality yet, but I really did appreciate, because the creator of Immortality, I believe, created Her Story as well, which we've talked about in the past on the podcast. And he does an incredible, all the devs do an incredible job, everyone involved, at going through and actually making these kind of, I don't know, very unique style of games, right, that aren't traditional in terms of the setup or the style. There are some traditional elements in the gameplay, right? But the fact that you're again piecing all of this together in a new way, and to see how they went through this, right? We've talked about having actors, and we're especially seeing more and more famous traditional Hollywood actors now coming across over into video games, right? If you think of 12 Minutes, Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, many, many more, right? But this one, it's more about like actually going through the whole process with the actors involved, as this one's a very, it's a different style of of game and how they actually made this kind of in reverse, right? Because it's a mystery game again, and you trying to solve the puzzles and mysteries around the space. But obviously, when filming it, how do you actually go about and film that, knowing knowing the answers? And again, great one to see all of that there. So I'm really impressed. Just again, just different mindsets going and making into this medium, which is always fresh to see, fresh perspectives, really appreciated, and it just completely blown away. Again, the different style of how a game like this is made. So yeah, really appreciate that one for it. Now we're going into that of resource number 3. Resource 3 is a talk I gave on mental maps. I've just now put this out on YouTube, as well as a previous episode on the podcast as well. I obviously recommend on YouTube simply because of the fact you actually see the slides alongside hearing me talk, which is always good to see. But I talk about kind of the elements in level design and how to make sure players find their orientation, move through the space, understand what areas are connected to which, and they can make more of a informed decision, if you will, in how to approach and move through the overall level. It's a great talk, one that I was really proud of, because the fact that when I was putting it together, I didn't necessarily understand mental mapping that well. But now, after doing tons of research and making that talk, it's definitely an element I feel stronger at now. And I just feel it's something that could help many LDs in that, especially again, we're seeing multiplayer become more and more prevalent, right, in the sense of the online space, and maps seem to be only getting bigger in that element, right? So we really want to make sure that players are, how do I say, able to make more of an educated choice and decision when moving through the overall spots as well. So I was really happy with that one. I think it's a good talk overall and something that I think people will enjoy. So do go check that one out. It is a previous episode of the podcast as well.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/Level Design Lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
Then we're going into the article called Designing for the Draw of Evil in Where Birds Go to Sleep. And again, I've not played Where Birds Go to Sleep, but I really am fascinated with a different style of, again, designing, right? I think it's always in. So it's behind the insight system, which goes really into kind of thinking about how this is more kind of an unconventional RPG and kind of how they approach and they come up with a design. Now, it's a really short read. It's about 6 minutes in total. So where we are in the podcast, you would have finished if you read it. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil it because it is a short article, but I think there's some cool things in there just because of the fact that, again, this is something that's always fascinating to me, and I know everyone listening feels the same. How do people start off the designs? Where do they take their inspirations from? What are they trying to, or where are they finding those inspirations to set off, right? So that one's a really fascinating one. Again, I need to actually play the game to see it obviously fully in action, but I thought it'd be a really fascinating one to see as well. So if you have played the game, I think it'd be great insight to anyone who's enjoyed that one. And then the final one, I think number 5 in these recommendations, is a kind of a throwback. I can't remember how I came across this, but a fan of the channel is Daryl Talks Games. But he talks about Deltarune, and especially on an element of Chapter 2, which I noticed, but not to the depth that he points out, which is called Noel's Actions in Deltarune Explained. And it was a great kind of psychological dive of this character in Noelle, breaking down her character arc, her growth, and also how your actions as a player impacts that growth in terms of the ending, or should I say, the end point of the growth kind of is the same in terms of she becomes more confident, but how she portrays that confidence can vary from understanding her own boundaries to that of being more hostile in defending her boundaries, right? And yeah, it was such a fascinating one because I've not obviously played Deltarune since it released. I can't believe that's 2 years ago now, which is crazy. But always a great game. Definitely something that I recommend, especially Undertale as well. But again, just a very good deep dive on elements and characters and how they're again shown and the gameplay impacts and reflects that of it, and especially if you go the full on evil route, like what happens to other characters because of that, which yeah is maybe the term evil's incorrect to use, but yeah, it's quite a fascinating one. Again, showing an aspect of the game that I had not seen. So yeah, very much appreciate that one. So we'll list off all of them again, so you're aware. The first one is Building New York in Marvel's Spider-Man, talking GDC. Second one is the NoClip documentary on that of making immorality. The third one is then my talk on mental mapping your levels on the podcast. The fourth one is the article on game developers called Designing for the Draw of Evil in Where Birds Go to Sleep. And then the final and fifth one is out of Noel's Actions in Deltarune Explained. All of these will be down below for you to click on, go through, read, watch, and enjoy. So I hope that you have enjoyed this. Go off and learn from some of these incredible resources out there. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And take care of yourselves. If you want to contact me and maybe share some ones that you think are great, then please do so. You can do so over on Twitter at MaxPairs. You can email into the show, leveldesignlobby@gmail.com, or you can support the show through patreon.com/leveldesignlobby. Thank you all, take care, and I'll catch you all next time.